Hi everyone, my name is Ange.
Yes, and it's Aurelie. Hi, everyone.
Aurelie and I are here to discuss about a little bit about history and why it is important for Africans to know and learn more about history, especially our own history.
Mhm. Yes, I'm an historian, so I will try to to talk about it as an historian, a specialist in African history. Yes. So today, Ange will ask me question, some kind of common question that many people have, and I will try to respond. And at the end, we will try to have a short discussion about it.
Yeah, so Aurelie and I are both academics, and we just not only we love to learn, to read, but also we just trying to find out more about ways of building narratives for our own community, right? As Congolese women,
Yeah.
living in the West, right? Even in the living in the
Yes.
developed world, but then also as people who were raised, were born and grew up in Africa and spent most of our, I would say, a huge part of our lives. We spent a huge part of our life in the continent, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and we see the necessity, right,
Yeah.
of basically learning more about where we come from, about our history and why it's important. The reason why we are so passionate about this topic is that we are also interested in unpacking identities, right? Finding out more about our roots, but also in trying to, I'll say, to combat like the beliefs or that Africans have no history, right? Or that Africans
Mm-hmm.
have a
Yeah.
history that is not so important. So, Aurelie, as an historian, right, can you tell
Or
us more
sorry,
about?
sorry to cut you. I just want to add something to say that one of the things is not only that Africa have no history or the fact that Africa have an history that is not important, but people also say that African history started with European. You see, that's why usually when people talk about African history, they start with people like Diego Cao or all those explorer of the 16th century. And it's a big issue because before that there was an history in Africa. So that's also one of the things. I just
So,
wanted to add to all the
yeah,
things you said.
yeah. So tell us more about what first, like, I mean, my question that, like, sorry, I'm really interested in finding out why is it that, why are we even discussing about this, right? Why?
Okay, I think that one of the main problem when you start about history is like, let's say that it's a science, and like all every science, there's a way to study it. And usually researcher when they study history, they kind of use sources, and usually they use kind of writing sources. You see, it's even a common say. Usually people say that history starts with the invention of writing. It's something that people say. That's why, usually when people think about history, they think about writings. But one of the main issue we have is that in Africa, writing civilization didn't, we don't have a lot of writing civilization prior, to the encounter with with other civilization who already have that. We have oral history, we have kind of orality, other kind of stuff, but we don't have a lot of right society who was writing, you see. That's why one of the things is like when Saoirse was kind of looking at African history, they were not seeing kind of sources, those writing sources, and for them it was just a proof that Africa didn't have any history. That was one of the main history. You see, that was one of the main issue.
So already all those things, like a lot of things that we're discussing about happened years ago, right? And
Yes.
even when And even when Western scholars, for example, describe Africa as a continent without a history, this was probably, also happened some years ago, right? So why is it important right now at this point in time to actually try to challenge what has been said about Africa having no history, or Africa having no history that is important to remember?
Okay, so the thing is that you have to remember your past to kind of build your future. It's something really simple. It can even sound stupid or like an evidence, but it's something really real. If you don't remember your past, you will not be able to build your future, because at the end you will just start doing the same mistakes again and again and again. And one of I think, and that what I'm saying is really what I feel. I feel that one of the main issue that many Africans have is like a lack of self-esteem in a certain way,
Mm.
because we feel that we never created anything, we never did anything. And I think that it starts also that knowing that our ancestor create something, because if someone come to you and say that, oh, you don't have any history because your ancestor didn't do anything, he didn't create anything, he adds nothing to the large history of
Mm-hmm.
humankind.
Mm-hmm.
you know Ourselves, we feel like less than other people. Like, why European have those kind of big history, have kind of those grandiose history, those magnificent history, but us African, we don't have anything. We just have people like Stanley, like Brazza, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like we just have the history of European in Africa. Where are our ancestors?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
many people, they feel like they are not really, they have no worth because they have not that past. But the thing is that past exists. We have many things that were very good, that
Mm-hmm.
exist, that people created, civilization that people created,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know about them because at the beginning it was that we don't have history. And at the end, when many scholars try to kind of find new sources in history, started using orality, started
Mm-hmm.
using, I don't know, archaeology, this kind of stuff, to build an African history. All
Mm-hmm.
those people who learned that Africa had not history, no one came to them to re-explain to them that, no, it was a lie, Africa have an history, So I think that is important for us to try to explain to people that despite what they hurt, we have an history, we did something. I'm not saying that our ancestor was kind of, there was good things and bad things, but like
Mm-hmm.
in any other civilization in this
Mm.
world.
So our last question, already. So then, for Africans, for Congolese, right? So
Mm-hmm.
does it matter where we actually learn about our history? And if it does, where should we learn about it?
I think that it matter. It really matter. And I'll just give my own experience. It's matter because it's really, and I'm not saying that just to say something, but because it sounds deep, but it really changed my life to learn African history. You see, it really changed my life because I think that the understanding that I had of life, because I grew up in a very Western word, if I can say it like that, you see. So I had some view about African and even about African culture. That's kind of a start deconstructing when I started learning African history, when that conversation about the past, why is it important? It's very important because I talk with many people who, for them, Africa had no history, it was kind of doctors, lawyers, Africa. I'm not talking about European, no, African, Congolese lawyer or doctor. For them, it was like, when you talk about Africa, they were always like, no, there's no history. They did nothing. So the thing is that we are doomed. This kind of stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot do anything well
Mm-hmm.
because we never did anything well. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember that I had a professor, he really liked Sheikh Anta Diop. And Cheikh Anta Diop, his thing was to show that former Egyptian were kind of Black African. And I remember that in the beginning, I didn't really understand why he was doing that, because I was feeling like that it was, kind of, it was not important. It was not an important conversation. Like, what's the importance if they were Black or, or I don't know, or white or even other race? What's the matter? It's the past. And I remember the professor told me that one of the things is that what he was trying to tell people was that if you did that in the past, those people were Black and they built the civilization. So if they did that in the past, it means that you can do it now. It means that Blackness is not a punition or, or a sin. It's just a color.
Punishment, yeah.
Yes, it just means that you can do whatever you want, even if you're Black, because people before you did that. And it's when I really understand why it was important, to show people that they have a past, to tell people that, Congo was a very big civilization, Lunda was a very big civilization, Luba, it was different. It was perhaps not a vertical hierarchy, it was kind of different than European civilization, but it was a great civilization. And they did many things and they changed their environment. And when people understand that, they know that, oh yes, they were Black, they did that. So as Black people, we can also do that. As Congolese, we can also do, I think that it's important that people understand that, because many people, they say that it's even a joke to say that, oh yes, Blackness is a sin, we are doomed at the end. And I know that even some people, sometimes just to, to joke, people in Congo, they say that, yes, we should just bring back the Belgian. Because we are not able to do anything. Since the independence, we didn't do anything. We never did anything. Many people say that. But it's not true, you say, because we did things before. And right now, if we believe in ourselves, we can do something, but we have to see that we can do it. It's not a fatality. We can do it. And knowing history can help you to understand. Me knowing history teach me that I can do whatever I want because, it's just a color. It's nothing else. It's just a color.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess from this conversation, I think that the best space for people to learn about history is first to start reading, right?
Yes, to start reading.
Read books like writers like Antia Diop, and many other African authors, right? Read their books, but also watch some videos of people who are speaking about African history, right? And I think over the course of the year, like the two of us will be speaking about some topics related to history. And this will be a good space for people to also join and learn more. And also, I think people should let us know what topics exactly they would like to hear more about. Not only related to history, but related to the African continent in general. We'd love to hear from you. So also what Aurelie and I will do, we're going to also add a list of recommended books and articles for people to read both in English and in French. And please do feel free to write, to ask questions in French, in Lingala, in Kikongo, in Swahili, and and English, of course. And we are more than happy to discuss and answer your questions. Thank you for listening to us, and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.